Hey everybody, how's it going today? I just realized I did not press the go live button. So, I apologize for that. I am here. It is me, Captain Energy, and we are going to take a look today at rewraps, which is a term I've coined now for wrapping VSTs in Reason. Today we're going to take a look at a product called Halftime. Halftime's right here on my screen. And I've basically been talking to myself for 10 minutes. I apologize. I thought I had clicked the go live button, but I had not. So I apologize for that. If you guys are here, let me see if anyone is here. Can you guys hear me? Is anybody here? All right. Well, it looks like I've got no audience at the moment. So let's give this a minute and see if anyone comes on to see the stream. Just because I'd rather, not just be talking to myself. Yeah, so today we're going to be taking a look at some Reason wrapping VSTs in combinators to make them more accessible. If you have or have not used Reason for a while, hey, John from the UK, how you doing, man? Sorry, if you have or haven't used Reason for a while, you probably know that using VSTs in Reason, first of all, wasn't available even at one point, but when it became available, it was this ugly kind of box in the rack, and then you'd click the ugly box and it would open the VST on top, and the VST would sit there, and then you'd accidentally click off and it would go away. You would have to lock it to keep it on screen, and even then it was kind of just a mess, a jumble of windows. Well, with Combinator 2, we've got something that we didn't have before, and that's the ability to wrap these beautiful effects. I mean, the effects are wonderful. Love what you do. Thanks, man. I appreciate that. Thank you. I really do appreciate that. I've been working this particular one. I'm just going to tell you that this particular wrap that I did yesterday of this VST took hours. Oh, thanks. I appreciate it. But yeah, this particular wrap took hours. I mean, this is right now, this is what it looks like in regular Reason right here, okay? But when we're done with it, it's going to look like this. This is the wrap that I actually built. And all of the controls are here. We've got the high pass, the low pass, which I'd like to flip these back and the other way around. I don't know why I did high first, because usually low comes first. But yeah, high pass, low pass. We got fade in, fade out. All these dial positions here are basically mapped in the application. I've got all, you can pick any of these loop lengths and you enable or disable it. Everything is here. And I'm going to show you how I did that, so you can either do your own if you find something that you want to be able to wrap, or if there's something that you are looking for and you want to tell me, I'm happy to try and make that happen as well. This one I did for one of my subscriber actually asked for this. And by the way, can you hear me all right? Is my volume okay? I'm sorry, I'm just double checking that. I'm got somebody actually in the audience here. Audience, that's such a weird word. I don't know why I just meant in this listening to the stream. But if you can hear me, just put something in the chat field so I know that you're able to hear me all right. Yeah, so this guy right here is, I basically copied their logo, sort of. I mean, I did all this. This is all manually done. I went ahead and if you guys are interested in having this, if you're building VSTs yourself or wraps for VSTs yourself, or even if you're just building combinators and want to know how to lay your skins out, I'm using Affinity Designer and Affinity Photo, and those two applications have been fantastic. Oh, good. Okay, cool. Loud and clear. That's just what I wanted to hear. Those two apps have been fantastic. I'm thinking of dumping Adobe because I was able to build this right here. This is all vector based, and I laid out the entire screen right here. And to help me out, what I actually did was I went to there it is. I went to Affinity Photo and I took screenshots of all of the controls. I basically built a combinator with just random controls on it, just everything. And then, let me get this over here. And then I cleared the background, so all the controls are separate. They're in groups also, so I can kind of get to each one. But this one's knobs, these buttons, all my sliders, and these are the wheels. If you double click these, basically I can pick one of these pieces here, and I'm just going to copy this. And now I can go over here and kind of start to get a feel for this is how much space. If I use that knob, I can design around this and then place it in the area here somewhere wherever I want it to be, and tell it to basically be there when I go over back to Reason. This background, I erase the controls or hide them, and all I have left is the design, and then I just apply real controls in the Combinator. Like one of the things I was thinking of doing was this right up here. These 8, or actually, what is we 9? Is it 9? It's 9 positions. 9 positions up here. Kind of is a little bit of a problem with this interface, in my opinion, on the way Reason handles it, because buttons, we don't have a way to do what on the web are called radio buttons. Radio buttons, if you've ever filled out a form on the internet where it's the circular buttons, there'll be 3, and it'll say, what's your favorite color, red, green, or blue, and you can only pick one, and the other one shuts off when you're done picking. Well, that's what a radio button does. As I do web development my real job is a web developer and application developer, so I use them all the time in real applications, but the Combinator doesn't allow that. It only has toggle buttons, like on and off. And there's not even, it's not even like it's a press button where it's on then off, just to set a value and then not be active anymore. It's either on or off. Like right here, if I go, actually we'll go right here. If I go up here, these are the buttons I'm talking about. When I built this, I would like this to be like, this turns off when I click this. But it doesn't work that way. In fact, you could turn them all on if you wanted to. I don't, and whichever one was the last one you pressed is the one that's going to be effective, but the best way to do that is to unclick everything and then click the one you want on. And I'm thinking of changing this to a rotary knob so to make life a little easier. I think that would be better. But I was trying to keep some of their design elements in here originally. I even put a little note here that says, turn off loop lengths you are not using before selecting a new one. Only one loop length should be selected when the patch is complete. Anyway, all right, so let's take a look here anyway. And we're going to build this. Sorry about that. We're going to build this today right here. I'm going to show you how this works. All right, so let's just jump back over here. And right now, there's Halftime. And in case you haven't heard Halftime, by the way, it does some pretty cool stuff. I encourage you to check out the Cable Guys site. I think it's just cableguys.com. I'll put a link in the description later on. And check out this effect. It's only $12. It's like I said, it's a great effect for the money, and I think it's very useful. Anyway, so here we go. All right, I'm gonna grab this effect that we've got here, and if you want to hear it, I can give you like a little. This is it running right now. Let's take a look here. Kind of works better with beat type things. Let me throw something else in here for a sound effect. Let's go to. Right there, boom. All right. This is just straight normal. It does some cool stuff. Anyway, and I encourage you to check it out. There is a free demo, like I was saying. But yeah, it's definitely cool. Cool one to try out. And so, all right, let's go over here. I'm going to right-click this, and I'm going to hit Combine. This is going to drop this effect that I already dragged into a Combinator. Now, this Combinator right now is kind of just pretty generic, whatever, nothing's going on with it. What I usually do straight away is I go right in here and click this configure button right here, and I literally just delete everything. All these controls go away because they're just kind of in my face right now. And then I have to pick a size. Right down here on the right hand side, if you're in the configure side, you'll see that there's a panel size, there's colors. You can pick a color that you might like if you're building your own or whatever. They don't need to necessarily be as complicated as I make them, honestly. They could be a lot simpler. I could have just done this and been like, thrown a knob on the screen and said, this controls whatever, and then map it to that thing and just been done with it. I just do all the graphic stuff because I feel like it adds to the experience. I want it to have a good UI and be understandable and kind of in theme with what it was and make you feel kind of good about using it. So I'm going to just go for black there. And for the backdrop here, I'm clicking this backdrop, and I can either pick none, which right now it does have one, which is this metal-looking overloaded texture. It's a semi-transparent texture that they put over the background. You'll notice it's always there. If I went to red, and we have that background to default, you'll see that it's there still. It gives that kind of like aluminum colored, red aluminum look. Anyway, I'm going to change this to 3 because I needed a little more height. Did I go with 3 or did I go with 4? Let me look at that again. I think I went with 3, but it might be 4. Yeah, it might be 4. Yeah, because it was big. That was the designation. Sorry. All right. I'll put this on black, and we're going to get rid of this background. But we're not just going to get rid of it and go to none. I'm going to hit load. Now, as I said, I already created that background in Affinity Designer and Affinity Photo. So I load it in. There's the background. Now, it doesn't do anything. It has no knobs. It doesn't do anything. But what we're going to do now is we're going to add all the functionality to this. And the cool part is, I could have made this look like anything if I wanted to. I could go back, and I had considered putting a caricature of myself in here. I decided to just go with the logo and coloring it to match the rest of the Combinator. But I mean, you could put anything here. Picture-wise, this is just one solid image. So create what you want to create as long as you know the spacing, and that's why I have the separated images of all the hardware that goes with this, or all the knobs and such that go with this. If anybody has any questions, by the way, feel free to drop them in the in the chat. I am peeking back and forth, so trying to make sure you guys. I don't want to lose anybody. I don't want to say talk too quick or anything like that. So just gonna grab a sip of water if you guys. There we go. All right. Anyway, so here we are. Now, what we'd want to do first is we would look at the Combinator itself and see what it's got going on. This one was a really good one to do for a couple reasons. One, aside from the fact that people liked it and wanted the demonstration of it, it also had not a very complicated interface. It doesn't have a trillion knobs or whatever, because when you're making a wrap or a combinator, you're limited to 32 buttons, 32 knobs. I have already, if you've seen my other combinators, like the 909 one that I made, the Captain Energy 0909, or the Tabla. The Tabla, I don't think I hit maximum, but the Captain Energy 909, I did. I ran out of knobs before I ran out of ideas and functions. So I had a little problem there because I'm like, oh, great, that's fantastic. Now I'm out of, what do I do? So I actually combined some of the drums. I was going to give each tom their own thing. So I ended up bringing the toms into like a group, so to speak. And, these things, sometimes you got to find ways to make things work. But in this case, it worked out perfect because really we only have, basically, if you look down here, this could be one knob that's selected, and that's what I did right here. You can see I made a spot for a knob where it's 1.5, 2, and 4, depending where you are on the dial. These two, this mix and the smooth, could be a knob. This part was a little, I don't know, this part was a little tricky. I used two knobs, but the two knobs that I used basically they adjust from the edges. So you wouldn't be able to slide it this way from over here, but you could go like this, which would essentially be the same. It's the same thing, We have fade out, fade in, fade out. This activates the plugin. It's kind of like a bypass button. It says on and off, but it's more like a bypass button. Or it says it looks like a power button, but it's just a bypass button, enable, disable. And then up top, our loop lengths, they have, like I said, they have these buttons. And, all right, let's take a look here. So first, we're going to I'll start with the fade in, fade out right here. These were really easy to set up because all you had to do was go over here and throw a control in, press control right here, click the little knob, and it'll pick a knob for you. Right now, I believe that's the knob I was using off, for everything when I was building this. In this case, because this knob has a label on it, and right now the scale's turned off. This has you have the ability to add a couple things to it. Let me move this over here so you can see it better on the black. You can see that it says control, and you can see that there's no scale. The scale's right here. If I click down here and hit light, you'll see that now it's got like these little dial points around it. We don't need that, but it's there if you want it. I usually turn it off because I usually design something in the screen that kind of indicates what you'd want to follow with the pointer of the dial. All right, and then the label. Now, I encourage you, even though we're not going to use these labels, I usually hide all the labels, okay? So there's no label showing, but I encourage you to, rather than just hide them, before you hide them, double-click them, and then give your label a name. I'm going to call this one Fade In, and then I'm going to hide the label. Now, why do I bother typing a label name if I'm not going to show the label? Well, the reason I do that, bring this over here real quick. Let's put it approximately where it should be. It's a little off, a little to the left. It needs a little more to the right. Yeah, still a little more, maybe up. That looks approximately right, I suppose. Yeah, that's fine. All right. The reason I do that labeling is because when you go back and you're trying to assign capabilities to this knob, okay, it's going to say fade in here. If I don't type, and it'll say it on the other screen too, I'll show you that in a second. If I don't type anything and I just drop a control in, okay, it just says control 2. Well, here's control 3. And here's control 4. What does what? I don't know. Because control 2, 3, and 4 don't really tell me anything. So if I go up to them and enable the label and say control 3 here is control 2. Actually, see, I don't even know what number it is by just double clicking it at first. Okay, so you see the label and I say, okay, you're going to be for fade out. All right, and we'll go to this one. We'll just label them all first, and then we'll work with them. And this one we're going to say is high pass. And we'll make this guy low pass. And this is a little bit time consuming, a little tedious to have to go back and forth and label these like that type of thing, especially when you're not going to use them. I mean, if you're careful enough and you want to do it without doing this, that's your call. But personally, it just saves you a lot of headache of going, oh, what was the name of that one? And then trying to find it. And it's headache inducing. So now, and also when I click these, if I click this one right here, it highlights them down here. So I don't need to see the labels anymore. Now I can tell which one's which. This is my low pass. So that's going to go over here somewhere. Okay. And you are my fade out. This should line up right there with that guy. Boom. And this is going to be my high pass. And I'm just visually trying to get this centered type thing, sort of. So a little bit of a, all right. And then we need a button for this filter right here. I'm going to go to switch. And same thing. I'm going to give this label with something here. Get this button over here first. And show label. There's my label. All right, and this is going to be filter solo. All right, now we're going to hide that label too. And the other thing is, by the way, you can change, use your own kind of, I guess, your best judgment. Pick your colors, do what you want. Like here, I mean, like this is, I'm going to use yellow this time because I can. I'm going to unclick the show label. We'll bring this right over here, and this goes right here. And that should be, I'm just going to do something real quick. I'm going to hit these 3 buttons, and what I can do is I can go on this little arrow drop down. There's space horizontally, space vertically, align horizontally, align vertically. I just want to be sure that these are kind of gapped right between each other. So I'm going to hit space horizontally. Okay, wow, man, I guess I'm better than I thought I was, because it thinks that this is about as even as it can make them right now. They're evenly spaced between each other. So, all right, well, that's good. So now without, I don't want to just drop every single control in. Let's go set some of this up, okay? We're going to go out here. I'm going to hit exit. And yeah, labeling is good, man. I'll tell you, because as a programmer, like I said, as a programmer, when you start not naming things properly, like any variables, if you start calling them, X, Y, Z, C, D, A, pretty soon you find yourself in the soup, man. You're like going, oh God, what did I do here? What Q plus Z is, R? What is happening? I don't understand what's going on. What do those variables mean? But if I said, crackers, crackers plus, sugar packets equals cup of tea, I know that, we're, talking about the right thing. I can say, I don't know, it's not really sugar and crackers, not really a cup of tea, but I think of crackers and sugar when I have tea. I guess I don't know what I'm saying. But if you use sensible labels and you know, go to look at things, you'll look at it and go, oh, I know what I'm doing here. I'm adjusting this. And it gets you through it a lot faster than having to, ratchet your brain and try and figure out what you did. All right, so here we are. I clicked, we were in design mode. I'm clicking exit to go to configure mode, or to edit the editor right here. If I click, okay, there's only one plugin here in this whole Combinator right now, and it's halftime. So if I click halftime, all of a sudden I've got nothing showing up here. So what do we do? If it were a rack extension, you could right click these different controls, but it doesn't work with VST. With VST, it's a manual process, but that's okay because we'll get through this. You drop down right here, this list, and this will say you want to add something. Well, all of the buttons, the labels that you added to these knobs show up right here. So, and then it starts at the default type stuff after CV1, blah, blah, blah. But up here I see fade in, fade out, low pass, high pass, and filter solo. So first, I'll get filter solo because that's my button. All right. And now I tell it, I go over here and I drop down this target, and group 1 is my Combinator. Now, I'm not sure why it has the name group 1 actually, or that's my VST, which, like you can see in the VST here, it says halftime. And if you look down here, it says halftime. And so I don't know why it calls it group 1. Something that I'm actually going to send in as a possible, maybe a bug that maybe they should look at, because I'm not sure why it does it that way. But, all right, so let's go back over here. Sorry. Just to mention, because I want you to understand that it's strange, but for some reason that's just the way it is right now. Okay, so I go to group 1, and I look in here, and I say, okay, well, I want to solo that band. So I look down, and I find the solo band, I want to solo the filter, which is one of the bands. Or it doesn't make sense. What I'm trying to say is it's just a button. I'm trying to enable that button. Yeah, so there we go. So that is now active. Now if I go over here and click this, now we're looking at the VST right here. And if I go over here and I enable this, you'll notice this little band right here enables or disables. Okay, so we're controlling it just already with that. Next, let's go over here. We're going to add high pass and low pass. So I'll go right here. We'll grab low pass. Same thing. We're going to go to group 1. And we're going to split low. And now I'm just going to get crazy here for a second. We're going to actually go right for the next one without demonstrating the high. One thing I will say is when you're doing this type of thing, and here's the high. There it is. All right. When you're doing this type of thing, always be sure you pick the next controller. I can't tell you how many times I've accidentally relabeled the same controller, just like thinking I'm on a tear and just going, So let's see here. All right. So now those are hooked up. Now if I go over here and I turn these knobs, you can see this is my low. So my low is adjusting. My high is adjusting. Like I said, I'm going to flip these another. I'll probably do a rebuild type thing of the skin and adjust that. But whatever, that's fine for now. All right, and then, all right, so that's basically those two knobs. Now this one's going to be an interesting one because right here, this 1, 1.5, 2, 4, I've got that mapped right here. I'm going to come back to this area in a second because this will get a little deep, because setting these zones is kind of it's a thing. It doesn't have to be in a way, because you could technically just go with enabling them and visually cueing where the switches hit, but you can actually set zones for it. I'll do one of each, and you guys can decide what you like, basically, and let me know what you think. All right, so here we go. Let's look over here for a second, right here. 1.5, 2, and 4. So this looks a little weird because it's like, well, we don't have any kind of a switch knob. We don't have anything that clicks, and I can say, oh, it's got 3 positions, blah, 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 right? So let's go to configure. I'm going to drop another knob right in there. Here's my knob. And it's going to go right. All right, right there. Let's show the label for a second. This is my mode knob. And now let's hide the label. Just like everything else. Now, if I go back out, hit exit, and go over here, and we add the mode knob, and then I go in here, select, and we select mode from group 1. You'll notice that as I turn this knob, pay attention to these right here, you'll see that I'm already, as soon as I hit 1.5, 2 hits right at the edge there, and then 4 should hit right there. So technically this is fine, as long as you just move your knob into these places where it should work, you know. If you wanted, this one actually works out pretty good like that. These ones are a little trickier because, and the reason they're a little trickier is because there's so many positions. So if I go right here and we say, let's get fade out, and I'm going to drop this right here down to group 1, pick fade out. Now, as I turn this, let me bring this over a little so you can see a little better. Right now we're at fade outs right here. We're at the end. As I turn up, it's just there's just room for, let's see, we're at 8 there. Yeah, like right here is where it starts to get a little off, I believe. 4, I guess that's 8. Maybe it works fine. You know what? I might just go this route because honestly, it does make life a little easier than the way I did it yesterday, which was that I added the source ranges for every controller. I added the controller a bunch of times and would tell it that when you're in this area, because you can kind of tweak it. I could say, for example, that the first 50% of the knob, come on, man. Sorry, I keep missing my click. I can tell that the first 50% of the knob will get you 100% of the distance. See what I mean? Right now I'm at halfway, and I'm already fully turned up here, which is good in a way because you can do some crazy stuff with it. As far as layering and that type of thing, if you want to layer your controls. So if I wanted to, for example, do this and then add, I'm going to get rid of these in a second, so don't worry. If I add a second fade out here, and I say this one's going to control fade in, and I tell it from 25 to 75%. Control fade in. I'm close enough right now, but come on, baby. All right, good enough. Now watch these sliders over here. As I go to 0, they're both at 0. This one goes up. As soon as it hits 50%, this one's going to start going. That one's at 100. This one's at 50. And now, see what I'm saying? So you can do some neat stuff if you wanted to use it that way. In this case, I literally just want it to be a 1-to-1 scenario. So I'm going to re-add that. Low pass here. Going to go right here. Gonna drop this down, go to group 1, pick low. And then we're going to do it again with high. Yeah, the knob is better. I agree, and it's actually going to make life a little easier here. I think. Yeah, you know what? I am going to modify the skin. Right, we'll do it right here. Do you guys want? I mean, I'll show you how I modify the skin. What I'm going to do is I'm going to. I think I'm going to add. Yeah, that'll be really. It might be tough to make the map all those spots out, but we can try and see what happens. Yeah, that was really aggravating to do that. Maybe, you know what I'll do? I'll do just set it up this way with the knob right now, and I will fix the skin maybe off camera, because the problem is that the way I mapped these lines here was a very manual way. What I would do is I would turn the knob until it changed what it was controlling. Like, for example, let's see. Why are you not working there? Hold on a second. That's strange. Split high, split low. That's right. That's correct. Let me just try closing this for a second, bring it back. I wonder if it somehow lost connection to the visual updating. Nope, those work fine. Oh, Jim, yeah. You know what I did? I apologize. Sorry, talking to myself. All right, here we go. Let's fix this. I assigned the wrong thing. I went for supposed to be fade in, fade out, not high and low. I just doubled my let's fix that. Sorry about that. All right, so fade in is this guy right here, and fade out should be this one. I'm just replacing these controls because I accidentally did low and high twice. Now right here, and now we'll go to group, fade in, and group 1 again, fade out, and now that's better. Sorry about that. I just goofed up a little. Hate when that happens. All right, now this guy we already have set up. So these were all set up. We just need to sustain, mix, and yeah. Oh, but what I was saying was the way I map these knobs is a little tricky, because what I end up having to do is literally take the knob and I look at the gauge. I throw a let me show you. The way I know where these lines are and the separation, rather than do the math and that type of thing and just figure out that way, because it's not always 100% right anyway in my head, because I can't figure out what the percentage is of the no radius. I think it's 25% of the radius of the knob is blank, because it only turns, there's a stop and a start point. But rather than do that and have to figure out, what I end up doing is this. I turn on the gauge here, which is the, where are you? Scale, that's what I'm looking for. Turn on the scale. And then I go out here and I map this just like you would normal. Let's go over here. Actually, I didn't give it a label, did I? I did not follow my own directions. Let's go right here. And we're going to call this loop. Okay. All right, boom. And now let's hide this. And I'm going to go back out here, exiting back to where I set up the controls. Let's go to loop. There's loop. And now I'm going to tell it, rather than the way I did the buttons before with all these little steps up here, I'm going to tell it, drop this down, group 1, and we're going to tell it to go to loop. Loop length right here. All right. And now when I turn this, you'll see it changes up there. Okay. So what I end up doing is going, okay, there's 1/16. And then I draw, basically in the other window, I draw a line off that going, okay, that's from the first step. And then we go, okay, there's 1/8. And that's, right there, basically. And I take a snapshot of each of these positions with snip. So, like, I'll do this. I'll do it right now. All right. This will give you an idea of what I'm talking about. All right. This is Snip. It's a snipping tool that's built into Windows. And Mac has something similar. I can't remember what theirs is called, but you can see that if you zoom way in, you can see that the needle essentially on the knob is pointing to this right here, this place on the gauge. Well, anytime it changes, let's do another one here. So right now we're on 1/16. Let's go for 1/8 T. Boom, there we go. Now, grab a new snapshot. Here we go. Boom, there it is. And I click that, and now that's in preview, and we'll zoom way in on that one. And we go, all right, well, that's right there. So we're basically, let's see, straight, right? It'd be right here. So it's like one before the straight bar, basically. And then I literally sit here and figure out that, like, this would be the one. This right here would be the piece of the gauge that I want to point to, roughly, or right here between the two, probably. So I go, okay, let's draw a line off there, line off there. So I do all the lines, and then, of course, if it's an odd number, it's great, because usually one of them is going to be at 12 o'clock up here, and then I just flip the other ones around, mirror them, and we're good to go. So if we want to do this, let's just do it. You know what? Let's just do it. All right. I just need one more snapshot anyway, so it's right here. 1/8. All right, and then we go right over here again. This is where the tedium comes in here, where it gets very, very tedious to build these. Okay. Oh, it's 8 spots, right? So actually, this is 2 more. Grab this guy right here again. Bring that over to preview. All right. And then the top spot, which would be to the half, should be, I'm on the wrong dial. Put that to 12 o'clock, and that's exactly half. All right. So now what I do is we go over to Affinity Designer, and let's get rid of this. What are you? I'm not sure what that was. It was a little something I must have left on the screen by accident. All right, let's go over here. Oops. Wrong application. I hate when I do that. When I don't have it maxed out, sometimes I click the wrong thing. All right, new. Get myself an 800 by 600 area. That's fine. All right. This is just to do it somewhere different than in the actual on the actual skin, just so I don't mess anything up in the background there. So usually what I start with is give myself a background color that is either, you know, white or black, depending on what we're doing. In this case, it's going to be black because, you know, everything's black on the other one. There we go. Now we'll go over to here, and this is the knob that we're looking for. This is the knob that I'm going to be using over there. So let's paste one of these in here. Oops. That was weird. That was extra strange. Things aren't supposed to disappear like that. I don't know what happened there. But, all right, so there we go. Boom, black. Now, yes, it looks ugly, but don't worry. This is just symbolic. You know, it's not. We're not going to actually keep that. So now I'm going to freeze this piece right here, and also the knob, so they don't move around on me. And now I'm going to look at my snapshots, basically, and say, okay, we know that the bottom is going to be 1. Why are you not moving? There we go. We know that the bottom's going to be right there. So start there. So I go over here and I put my first dot right here, and then I try and line it up with the rest of the gauge, basically, so it's coming out. And then I hit straight. Okay. And there we go. There's my first line. Now we'll go to my second one here. Which is going to be this guy right here. And this one, I believe, was just one short of straight. So yeah, you can see it right there. It's basically 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, right there. That's good. So right about here. Actually, one thing we want to fix here is we want to be sure that these are colored in a way that you can see them. Let's go right here. We'll just grab green for a second. And I'm going to make this thicker because it should be about there. All right. Let's go over here for a second. There's straight. So I want to be right about here. Forgot to mention, I usually use the very back of these to know where to start so that it kind of, you know, has a even spacing around the middle of the circle here. All right, let's go back. Get my next image, which will be this guy right here. All right, so that's going to be right around here. Let's take a look right here. I feel like that's right about there. Oops. All right, and now we do it again with the last image. Which is about so it's about 3 from 12. All right, so let's get back over here. Oops, Control Z. Here's 12, 1, 2, 3, and we'll drop one right there. And just go out straight from there. These two don't look very straight. Let me just line that. Am I in? I'm in the right application, sorry. Every once in a while, because oops, these two apps there, use the different colors, like the blue as is the illustrator and the pink is the designer. The right way? No, I think it's the other way around. Actually, blue is designer and pink is illustrator. No, I'm right. Blue is blue. Photoshop is blue, and Illustrator and this Affinity Designer is blue. It confuses me because I go, oh, hold on, I'm in the photo part. No, I'm in the right one. Okay, I'm in the right one. That's good. So every once in a while, I just get a little, what's going on? Anyway, all right. So now what we do is we have one more line. That's going to be a straight up line, which is right here. Boom. And that one just goes straight up. It doesn't need to go very far because this one doesn't really have to follow the same guidelines as the other ones. What I'm going to do now is this. I'm going to go over here and I'm going to grab a circle. And I'm going to get rid of the middle of this circle. We don't want this filled, so I'm going to turn the fill off. Okay. And now I'll move this so it is centered with the knob. There we go. That's right. I was looking for that. All right. So that should be about enough distance there. And now what I want to do is I want to take these tips on these lines and I'm going to bring them basically to meet the circle. And the reason I do this is so that we have an even displacement of the fonts, so that when I put labels on these, they're kind of following the same, you know, even if the word is longer and it doesn't seem to make as much sense, as long as this the end of where it touches here is right, it seems to make sense, even though it may not technically make sense that it doesn't fit. If that makes any sense, the way I'm trying to explain it. All right, well, there we go. Boom. Let's get rid of the circle now. We don't need it. Those are all even. They're round. So let's take this, go right here, grab these lines, Control C, and I'm going to just hit right here, paste again, and we're going to paste, I should say, and flip that. And now I'm going to take them over to the other side. And that is how I make my my lines. So now the next thing to do is to get a font, which I'm going to have to look at the other design that I did here. I'm just checking YouTube right now. Anyone? Meticulous is, yeah. Yeah, I know. That's the thing, is like it takes forever, but it is cool in the end. Like the result is what you're going for. So yeah, literally I'll spend hours tweaking like this type of thing. This one's going actually fairly reasonably quick-ish. You know what I mean? But it's going to look good when it's done. So, all right. So here we go. Let's look at the Combinator, because I honestly don't remember what numbers we have. Okay, 1/16, 1/8. Okay, so, and let me look back over at the other guy right here, because I need to know what font. That's my rewrap logo that I designed. I want to use this. Do I have that all locked? Of course I do. Let's unlock everything for a second. And I just want to get this font right here. Filter, so that's not it. Sorry about this. It's just going to take a second while I figure out where. I wish these were a little bigger so I could see what I'm looking at. I think it's right here. Yeah, that's what I'm looking for. Let's copy that. Over to here. Paste. Here we go. And now what I usually do is I make sure that these are right aligned. That will keep everything in order. All right. So now we go, all right, 1/16. I try and also keep this dot right here lined up with the tip of the end, and then I just move it out one full tab left step type thing. I don't know if you've used Affinity, but if you hit the shift in space, if you use the arrow keys to move stuff, which I do all the time, just an arrow will move it a little bit, but if you hit shift and arrow, it moves it out a bigger chunk, and it's an even amount of space, and that's what I usually use for this type of thing. Boom. That would be a capital T. Why did I just paste that in again? I don't know. I should have just actually done this. Shift and arrow there again. This should be 1/4. Come on, baby. Sorry, talk to my computer a lot while I'm doing stuff, so. This is okay, 1/2. In this case, I'm just going to center that a little bit better. And bring that up 1. That looks about right. And now, since we're going to the right side here, I'm going to actually change my alignment, text alignment to right, aligned to the left, so it kind of pushes off correctly. All right. Also, the cool part is now that I have they're mirrored, I have these guidelines that will pop up to help me out a little bit. Now this is going to be 1 bar. But you want that capital or uppercase rather, not capital. Capitals. All right, there's 1. Gives you pretty much a pretty good appreciation for what I go through to make these combinators, though, actually seeing me do this, because I'll tell you, it's not... I must kind of like a little bit like punishment or something, because these are not... they're not always easy to undertake, some of them. This one's not even that bad, honestly, because it was, like I said, so few controls. The only part that's problematic, of course, is these type of things where it's not the number of controls, but more the precision in the controls, the requirements of the controls being so, tightly integrated type thing to the, let's get this over here, to the VST and making them kind of, there we go. Yeah, I'm really hoping that they decide to give us, let's grab all this, group it. I'm really hoping that they decide to give us switches that have click spots and maybe do this part manually or automatically in the next gen, or have it as an option where it's like, spider legs type thing off of it where you can add, points on the, that would be so sweet. Let's see. Does the slash on the knob change color? Does slash on the knob change color? You mean in the middle here? Or do you mean... Oh, you mean when you're actually in the right place? Does it like say I'm pointed at the right zone that you're talking about? I think that's what you're saying. Like, so you know that you're there. It does not. It doesn't do anything like that. It just turns. That's the problem. Is a little design flaw in my opinion, I should say. But it's what they've got going on. It needs to be resolved basically. At Reason Studios, they need to actually tweak that. All right, what we're gonna do here, I'm just gonna say, is I'm gonna dump this piece right up here. Let's see. Where are you? All right, I'm going to do this, get rid of that, and we're going to get rid of this, because now that doesn't apply anymore. I'm going to save this. V2. And I'm going to export it. Well, actually, we'll wait till I get this other piece in here. Getting ahead of myself. I don't need to export it till I get this going. Let's bring this over here. Why are you stuck? That's why. Okay, let's just bring that. This might actually take. I think it kind of looks good. I want it with the logo, the loop part. Let's see. All right. There we go. Let's bring this right over here. Let's do it a little bigger. I'm not sure I love this, but we're going to go with it for now anyway. All right. And now let's control save. There could be an update to this once I get this thing worked out in my head, but this is kind of just give you the idea of what we're doing here, changing it up. And this is the decisions I make literally every day, where I sit here and I go, oh, maybe if I do it this way, and I end up throwing away 3 hours of work because I'm just like, I kind of like this better. It's hard to plan the layout until you actually get in there sometimes. And, you know, unfortunately, that's just the nature of the beast. Any kind of design, I feel like you never know a logo is crap until you actually put it down and look at it and live with it for a little while and then go, nah, that's just not going to happen. It's not happening for me. Yeah, I wish the knob did slash did change color. That would be super awesome. That actually would be a great and cheap fix for them. Essentially, not when I say cheap, I mean like easy, quick fix for them to do something like that, where it did something to indicate you're at a zone, rather than even adding the snaps to it. They could add something that detected, you're at a place where something should be happening here. But yeah, all right, let's go back over here, and I'm just gonna go to this combinator, and we're gonna actually make a little change to the look of this thing. I'm gonna hit, instead of halftime back, I'm gonna go load a new one, and we're going for this guy right here. Open that up. And now, you know what? That's too high up. See, and that's the other thing I forgot to do. I got rid of my bar. I'll slide it over to the right, I guess. We'll move it over. We'll just put it in the space over here somewhere or something, I guess. That just stinks. And also the green is the wrong green. But that was, let's get in here and look at this closer. One, two, three. Get them all. You can see it's too bright of a light green. I just grabbed a green over there. I didn't really, oh, for Pete's sake, man. Also, I'm going to be sure this background is locked down because let's just do this. Boom. And now I should be able to just grab you guys right here. Let's just unselect these numbers. And now we're good. All right, let's go over to and go to my swatches, and we're going to pick that green. Okay, now it matches everything else. Conformity, All right, so let's just take this guy right here, and I'm just going to bring it over here, even though I'm not thrilled with the placement at the moment. Wrong arrow. I'll just put it right here for a minute for this video. And I'll grab my loop logo. Oops, we're cutting off. That's because there's something there in the front. Which is probably where you are. Let's bring you over here. And we'll just make this smaller. I just saw something. What is that? I just thought I saw something. Sorry. I was using that to change the background so I could see something that looked like it was under it or over it. All right. That's better for now, I guess. Let's re-export that as a PNG. Same name. We'll just overwrite the other one. And go back to Reason. And reload that. Unfortunately, there's no reload button yet. You have to go through the menu and just load it again. But that's all right. Not too bad. All right, there we go. And now we'll just bring this knob right over here. And that ought to do it. Now what we're going to do is we're going to turn off the scale so it doesn't show and intrude on the, and that's it. Now let's go back over here. Did I give this knob a name? I think I did. Loop. I did give it a name. Okay. When we go here, it's already set up. So we go. I usually just look at it 1/16. It looks like it's mapping right. Yep. Good to go. Okay. So that's in there now. Now all we need to do is map the enable and the mix and sustain buttons. These are knobs. These are going to be easy. Actually, all we've got to do is go over here again, and we go to the bottom. As you start to run out of knobs, this is one of the things I actually do like, is that they actually scroll now. They didn't used to let you scroll, and it was a pain because it limited you to what you could do. But all right, so we're going to go. Let's get, oh, you know, I actually need to add them in. They're not actually even physically there yet. So we need to actually add 2 knobs and a button. So let's add 2 knobs. And we'll show the label. And you are going to be my sustain knob. And you are going to be my mix knob. And I'm also going to need 1 button. So let's just drop a button in here. And I'll leave it as the yellow button again, just for consistency's sake. Again, do what you feel like is right there, because that's kind of like, it's, you know, it's your kind of thing, you know, it's your combinator. If you're building one. And this is enable, which is basically power. I'm just going to fix that because it drives me crazy. I'd rather have it all lowercase or all uppercase or capitalized properly, but if it's lowercase letter first and then uppercase letters for the rest, it just makes me bonkers. I don't know why. All right, so let's go right here. Let's hide this label, and hide this label. And now let's bring these guys down to their home, which is right here. Here's the mix knob, which should, yeah, lock onto that one now. I feel like this one needs a little more something. It's hard to tell sometimes when you're doing these how centered they are. I usually try and just eyeball it because there's no real, unfortunately, there's no real snap point or grid. It's just they line up to each other, and hopefully that they're right. Okay, so now let's go over here, hit exit again. We're going back to the programmer part here. Scroll down, and we're going to add my sustain, and that's going to control on group 1. Where's my, that's mixed, that's, oh, smooth length, they call it. Yes, sorry. It's smooth and sustain. It's the same knob. It does 2 jobs, basically, depending where you're at. See, it does more than 2 jobs. Sustain, swell, FX, percussion, there's a few settings for it there, but I guess I did not really realize that could actually be a labeled knob too. Maybe I'll do that actually after as well. All right, no worries. Let's get one more knob on here. Let's add my mix knob. This is going to control mix. And of course, now we have one last thing to add, and that is the on-off button, or bypass enable type button. In this case, enable, I called it. And we go right here, and we're going to hit power on with that. And that's it. Now, this Combinator is built and ready to rock. We can test everything. Usually what I do now is I literally go through every single thing and make sure every single knob is hooked up, because it's funny because when they did the demo the other day on Reason Studios, they did a demonstration of a bunch of combinators, and one of the combinators that they showed did not have a knob hooked up, and I was thinking to myself, man, oh, that would just suck to have been spotlighted, and to find out that part of the reason you were spotlighted was to say, look, this doesn't have this. And Ryan Howland called it a teachable moment. And I thought to myself, man, I'm like, I mean, yeah, people make mistakes and stuff, but I'm like, I was thinking to myself, man, I felt bad for whoever made that one, because I was thinking, to have worked so hard on it and then to have it like poked at really kind of bugged me on that one. But I was so excited to be featured on there myself that I was like, yay, look at that, I'm on there. Yeah, but that's pretty much it. Yeah, it is kind of the same as writing something. I mean, art is tough. I mean, art is hard. People don't think so, but any kind of art is really, it takes from you, I mean, a lot. As far as, like, it requires commitment, it requires precision, it requires constant learning, and it requires you to continually push yourself. You've got to always come up with something a little better than last time. It's not easy. And yeah, music, I mean, I love doing music. I'll never be at this point in my life, I'll never be a famous musician. But I mean, I like making music still. I do pretty well at sound design, and now this is my new thing, is actually designing, these combinators, and I'm actually getting into, and I'm going to be doing a thing on this actually as well, doing a stream on this probably shortly, on designing or creating instruments with Halion. I know there's a whole series out there on using Halion from Steinberg Software, but as far as the actual development of Halion instruments, I haven't seen a lot really get into that, and I'm actually getting into the whole programming aspect of it as well, with using Lua, which is a language that they use for doing that's used in video games a lot too. It communicates between the 3D models and the gaming engine, and but they use it also in interface development or design in instruments. So yeah, it's cool stuff. And I mean, I do wish that this had more capabilities, the whole Combinator thing, than what it has. But it's got a pretty good set to get going with. I mean, it feels real nice to be able to do these things with the Combinator, and to have this much more control over it than we used to, because the old one, it left me wanting. And it left me kind of not really using it, because I was like, it's only got 4 knobs and 4 switches, and they're placed in one place. You can't really do anything with this thing that really blows my mind. So it was just really good to see this new combinator come to light, and would do more combos in the future, especially if I. Oh yeah, I'm definitely doing more combinators in the future. I'm gonna be. I mean, right now this one is one that I wanted to do like live, and I said I would do it. I'm looking for another one to do. That'll be another popular type one. I'm thinking I might. I've got the entire. And I'm going to give this one away too. This will be up on if you've got halftime. Now, I can't say I'm really giving it away per se. I'm giving the wrap away, but I'm not giving the plugin away. But because the plugin is actually a separate purchase, it's not something that's included with Reason. That's the part that stinks about these, is that you need to have the VST to use these wraps. But yeah, but I'm actually going to be doing more combinators, and to be honest, the way that this VST works, I sat here and I thought to myself, oh yeah, it's a huge leap from the old Combinator. The old Combinator was limited, and it's funny because that was, if you did you see the stream, where they were talking about it, and Ryan was saying, yeah, it was touted as the big feature in whatever Reason 3, or I think it was Reason 3. And they said it was like dun 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 dun. It was like, everybody was like, well, what good is this thing? Who cares? What's this garbage? And they were saying that they considered it a sign of forward thinking by Reason Studios or Propel Heads at the time, and they're right actually, because this was. I mean, it really did move forward, and it did become a good thing later. I mean, the first one was okay. You could do some good stuff with it. I mean, if you're willing to put some time in and work with it. But forever, from the first time I saw it, I was trying to find ways to add more knobs to it. And I did find a couple rack extensions that actually did provide more knobs and let you do some stuff. And actually, I may integrate some of them in here later, because some of them are kind of interesting. They have oh yeah, so you saw the okay. I was gonna say the some of the knob arrays that I have actually have like I'll say almost logic to them, where if you know anything about computer logic and that type of thing, where it's an and, if this and this work, then send a signal. They've got knobs that pretty much run on this grid that you could control, and if they were connected in a certain way at a certain time, it would send a signal through. And I was thinking of using that device with synchronous, and trying to build something that was kind of really unique there. So I'm looking at making some really cool, unique new effects too with combinators, not just wrapping the ones that are already there and making them more accessible in a way or whatever. I mean, I think that's great, and I know Reasonistas, who's I mean, I don't know. I call people my friends just by talking to them, whatever. I don't know. I'm kind of weird that way, but he seems like a really good guy. We've chatted a couple times, texted back and forth, and he gave me some encouraging words in the beginning, so I consider him kind of like a friend. Like, he did a lot of rewraps of actual items that are rack extension devices, and I'm like, well, that's cool. It's neat that they have like this new look and that type of thing. And I actually wanted to buy them just to support his efforts. You know what I mean? Because he's selling them. Though I couldn't find them on his site to buy. I do have to get in touch with them to see where they are. Like, sometimes I buy things just as an effort to support people. You know what I mean? Like, a little bit. Like, I don't. It's funny because I give everything away and I don't, sell anything really right now. But I feel like if people are trying to sell stuff and I want to support them as an artist or as a developer, designer, whatever, sometimes I'll just buy stuff. I bought CDs by artists who I wanted to support their efforts and that type of thing. Even if I wasn't into their music that much, I'd listen to it and see if it was decent, And if I didn't love it, that's fine. I mean, my son is a big fan of rap. I'm more of a trance guy, but. So I give like any rap CDs I buy, I give to my son or whatever. It'll be like, hey, here you go, bud. I bought this to support some artists. It sounded pretty good. Maybe you'll like it if it's good. I don't try not to get stuff with too many you know, not to be, I'm still a parent, you know what I mean? I can't give them something that has like too much like dirt in it, you know what I mean? But anyway, but yeah, so but I'm definitely going to be doing more effects and that type of thing. And if you've got if you're going to be aside from creating ones, I do want to do something with the Arturia stuff. Like if I look at I picked up um, their whole. I'm not in the effects folder. Sorry, wrong. I do that all the time. The problem is the computer isn't like doesn't keep up with me in my thoughts. Let's see here. What's this one? This is Delay Memory Brigade. Let's take a look at this. Sorry, it keeps opening in my main window, which is over here. But like something like this, oh yeah, I could wrap this puppy in a minute. Well, almost a minute. It'd be pretty quick to make a wrap for this. And the reason I say that is because the things that we don't have, of course, are screens or gauges. I wish we had a way to create screens and gauges. And actually, that was another thing. I've got to email Mateus because I came up with a concept that I don't know if he's going to like or not, but to be able to replicate the screens into a Combinator. And somebody actually released a Combinator recently that looked like they had screens. So I bought it because I wanted to see what they did. Yeah, and it didn't actually have screens. It was a mock screen, just a picture of a screen. And that was a big disappointment for me. So I was thinking, hold on, did they actually find a way to do this? Is there something? Was there an update or whatever? And I didn't see anything. But yeah. But here we go. So we go to the advanced mode. I could even get the advanced mode in here. The only thing I wouldn't be able to do is, I guess, yeah, we could probably put this on a knob right here. That's a lot of choices, though, on one knob. Sheesh. Is that like 16? I'm guessing just off the top of my head. Looks like it's about 16. Anyway, yeah. But, I mean, I was thinking of doing the Arturia stuff because, well, one, I'm a huge fan of Arturia's stuff. I mean, I just am. And Rob Pappin's the other one. I just love Rob. But Rob's stuff would be really hard to convert because he does a lot of stuff with screens. Let's see here. Pappin. Oops. I can't type today. Let's see. Like you could probably do this one here. Delsane. It looks like most of these actually maybe his effects would convert all right. But like this guy right here. Or what's this one here? The Rob Pappin reverse. See if you got all this stuff going on like this, there's just no way. I mean, I could bring the knobs over, but sorry, but it would be impossible to do anything with the the visual parts of this. But yeah, so anyway, that's pretty much it, I guess. Excellent connection. So I was just looking at that, trying to see what it said on my screen. Sorry, I just got a message that says I have an excellent connection, just in case I was wondering. Apparently, I was hoping it was pretty good because I got a 1,000 up, 1,000 down type connection. 1,000 meg up and down. So it worked pretty well. Anyway. The stream health is good. Everything's good on here. Is there anyone else out there? Or is it just me and you, John? It looks like it might be just me and you. Do you have any other questions or anything? Is there anything you'd like to see happen as far as like any particular effect, any particular instrument, any kind of? I mean, let me know because I mean, if I've got it, I'll definitely have no problem doing it. And if it's not too expensive, I don't mind purchasing a thing or two here or there. I just don't buy a lot of VSTs these days because unless it's for the purposes of the videos. Or my own, actually, well, I shouldn't say that. I buy a lot of VSTs. I have a lot of VSTs. I usually buy the giant kits, though. I haven't got a lot from Kilohertz or any of that. And cable guys, I'd heard of them here or there. Oh, thanks, man. I appreciate you coming on board and chatting with me too. I mean, as well. I mean, I really do appreciate anyone who comes along and checks out what I got going on, especially when it's like as long of a video as this one was, type thing. This was almost 2 hours. But yeah, I mean, I thank you, John. I'm glad you were here to check it out, and I'm gonna try and do another stream. I can't do next Saturday because I have something going on, but I can probably do it the Saturday after. So it might be the Saturday after this coming Saturday. But I'm gonna try and get on a regular streaming schedule, and I think 10 a.m. works for me on Saturdays, usually. But in the case that I can't, I might just put videos out at 10 a.m. on Saturdays anyway. That just seems like a good idea. I usually try and get something out Saturday night into Sunday, but today I decided to just stream and get this out there. So anyway, all right, man. Well, I guess if you have anything you want to ask or whatever, just throw it in the comments and I'll get back to you. And if you come back later, I will have, once I get this all zipped up and that type of thing, I'll put this wrapper in the as a download in the comments or in the description, so you can get your hands on it if you want. And I'm gonna actually hit up the cable guys and let them know what happened. Thanks, man. I hope so too. I've got like 300 something users right now, which it's pretty good. I mean, I've only been at it for about a year, so it's slow but steady, and it's been increasing in numbers lately. So, it's just got to keep at it, I guess. That's kind of the thing. Keep plugging. So, all right, man. Well, have a great day, and I will catch you in the next video. All right? Take care, man. Oh, hold on. Do I have an email ad? You mean like so I can email you stuff about the videos when they're playing? I don't have anything set up yet, but if you want to email me, you can, and I will add you to a list. My email is cap10nrg, Captain Energy, that's me, at gmail.com. I'm actually setting up a website, and I'm going to be setting up a download area and a mail list on there. And once that's all set up, we'll be good to go. But right now, I don't have an email, type thing set up. If you click the notifications, though, if you subscribe and hit notifications, that'll probably work in most cases. But I am going to put together something with emails, because a lot of people don't like to give their email address anymore because they're all like worried about being spammed or sold or whatever. I mean, and I get that, but just email me. I'll email you out, though, let you know what's up. It's cool. And I'm not going to spam you. I'm just some dude. I'm not like, I'm not corporate America. Probably never will be corporate America that way. I mean, I work for I work for the community, basically. The work I do is for the community, and the work I do on the web is just to make things better for everybody. So I'm not trying to get rich quick or any of that. So anyway, all right, man. Well, John, have an awesome day, man. Catch you later. Anyone else who's out there and sees this video later on, thank you very much for checking it out. I look forward to seeing you all in the next one. Bye for now.